Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is a Valentine tank. It's a tier 3 British light tank. It's located on the north spawn of Abbey and it's under the command of D-Tronics UK of Reborn. And in this battle, I'm in the other Valentine alongside Fixing Stupid, and Marybanks is in the other one, just a little way over there. And we're all on the NA server. Well, we all decided to load in Valentines because Valentine tanks are very, very tough. And we're going to have a triple perspective game here. And you can see, well, it started off fairly badly because we've come across a little troll, Sea Runner, in the M3 Stuart. Didn't really want to let me get over to the west side of the map. Now, the Valentine tank has a 2-pounder gun, which counts as 14mm, doing 50 alpha, penetrating 78mm of armor with standard ammo, and it goes up to 121 with the APCR, and now he's rammed into D-Tronics. Yeah, that guy's just a pain, I'm afraid. As you can see, Marybanks is just behind us, and I'm to D-Tronics right as we move down into the valley. Just checking around to see. I was looking at the Panzer 38T that was just spotted. So is Marybanks. But we're headed down the west side of the map. Well, the Valentine tank isn't a very fast tank. It was built in Britain, and they built a lot of them, and they were shipped not only to Australia, they were also shipped and used in the Soviet Union as the Valentine 2. It's a walking tank, it's an infantry support tank, so it's not that fast, but it does have very good armour. And that's one of the best features. In fact, the only weak spot really of this vehicle is that corrugated cover over the engine bay at the rear, and that's where you can easily penetrate because the armour there is fairly thin. Over the front of the vehicle it's fairly thick though. And oh, we just lost one of our tanks explosively. And he's now having a go at the Panzer 3E. Gets one in. Takes a round from that Panzer 3E though. Another pen. He's holding on the corner. And you can see me, I'm playing peekaboo with this Cruiser Mark III. And well, D-Tronics just comes straight round the corner. And the Cruiser goes down. And it's actually killed by D-Tronics. And he goes after the Panzer 3E, and I take that kill. Well, you're going to get a chance to see this battle from my perspective as well as D-Tronics, so, as well as Marybanks. And what we're going to do in the order is we're going to show D-Tronics' game first, as we're doing right now. And then we're going to show Marybanks' image of the game. And then finally you'll see what it looked like to me. At the moment we're actually going back to the cap because the enemy force is not only coming up the centre of the map, and a Panzer 1C has made it into the centre. There's another group coming through the up the river road as well, and so we really need to deal with those. Here's that M3 Stuart, the guy who was a bit of a nuisance earlier. He goes down the cliffside, and we get to the bottom, and D-Tronics is straight into the fray, heading towards the enemy. That M3 just went down to Marybanks, and now he's aiming towards the T116, and he gets the kill. So he's now got 2 kills, Marybanks has got 2 kills, and I've only got 1. Well, it looks like somebody over there is receiving on fire, or he's received a lot of damage. I think that was the T70 on the enemy team. It's just taken out by Zoe Balls. Yes, Zoe's in the battle in the UE 57, but unfortunately she just died. Well, D-Tronics wanted to go down the centre and engage the enemy there. I was actually going back to the cap because I was very concerned that in fact I was just behind him at that moment, but I was very concerned that the enemy that coming down the river road were about to appear, and so I turned around at this point, went back to the cap area, and D-Tronics decided to do the same. Marybanks has spotted a Valentine tank who's just come up the river road. There's a Panzer IIIe just around the corner and a Valentine tank, and so D-Tronics has decided to break off from our group and he's going around to deal with them. The Panzer IIIe just went down to the M3 Stuart, the nuisance player. He's still there. He's now facing up against the Valentine, and D-Tronics is going for that Valentine. Here we go. Yep, first shot's a hit. Another hit. One more for kill. Oh, he didn't get it, but he will get it this time. Yes! Right, straight through the driver's port, which is of course a weak spot as well, obviously. He accidentally took a round from one of his teammates behind him. Now, he heads towards the enemy cap, whilst we're still dealing with the enemy. And he spots a Marder 2 off in the distance. And as I say, the Valentine is fairly slow, which makes it a fairly easy target for Arty, I'm afraid. In fact, the thing about Arty is the shells are coming down right from above. And they're coming down onto the weak armour, the armour over the engine bay. Oh, he just received a round from that Marder. He's lost a lot of hit points, but he's firing back. And unfortunately, the kill shot came from an Arty he couldn't see, who looped a shell over the ridgeline into him and took him out of the game. So that's the end of D-Tronics' battle, but now we'll watch it from my perspective. And here's the battle from Marybanks' perspective. Okay, game started. And you can see there's D-Tronics and myself moving off. And Marybanks gets rammed by the Panzer IIIe. Not very nice, but yes, what can you expect? At this tier, a lot of the players are noobs and they don't really understand about how to avoid other players. Okay, so we're moving off down the west side of the map. Many may think actually the Valentine tank was possibly named after somebody who had Valentine in their name, and there was one of the creators was actually named or had middle name Valentine, but it wasn't. That wasn't the case. It was actually a code name given to the tank. It wasn't anything to do with the creators or the date or anything else really. It was just purely a code name. A lot of people have supposed that there must have been some relationship with somebody named Valentine. Well, Marybanks has actually spotted there's a couple of enemy tanks coming through the centre, one of which is a BTSV. And several of the other teammates have actually, or one of the teammates has actually marked that off straight away. BTSV is a tier 3 Soviet premium tank. Very odd shaped tank, looks like a boat, but it's actually quite fast. It's got good armour and it's difficult to take down. He has actually been killed by one of our teammates. Panzer IIIe got him. Marybanks looking for targets. Oh, there's another BTSV over there, hiding behind the building. It's that odd shape you can see whenever she puts the reticule over him. This is why Mary didn't go down or follow us down the way that the other way. She was actually thinking about going up the slope after watching those. There's the BTSV. Yes, after after she got delayed and she came across this Panzer 1C. And here he comes, he's coming around the corner and he's going to have a devil of a job trying to penetrate her armour, which is pretty strong. You can see he's bouncing rounds off her. They're not penetrating at all. And she gets a round into him. And he's still firing at her as he retreats. He must have auto-aimed onto her. She gets another round into him. And another. And she gets the kill. So that was Mirrorbank's first kill in the game. Oh, M3 Stewart on the enemy team. And she gets the first shot in. Did critical damage as well. Second shot was a bit wild. That was because she flicked the rescue. And the third shot goes in. And the fourth kills him. Nicely done. And we come down the slope. And so we're all back together again. T116 takes a round. Go for the kill, Mary. Nope, didn't get it. It's a very robust little tank as well. As you can see there, you can throw it down a cliff and you don't really do that much damage because it's very slow. It is fairly heavy, but it is fairly slow. It was a reliable tank, the Valentine. And I think the Soviets actually did like this tank because it was so well made and it was so simple. The suspension systems on this tank are also very simple. As you can see, 3 road wheels working together of the same suspension system, 3 return rollers on top, and the drive wheel and the idler. The drive wheel was at the back and the idler's at the front. Now normally the Soviets, well, I think they did follow the same procedure with their tanks because they did buy some British tanks into war. Oh, but the Germans did it the other way around. There's the enemy Valentine. Well, okay, she's got some serious opposition now. And at the moment, we're still coming back from the centre. And Mirrorbanks is going after that Valentine all alone. No, Valentine against Valentine can be a tough prospect. Now, Mary's concerned because there were some other enemy tanks coming up the river road. And she didn't know if that guy's friends were going to suddenly come around the corner to help him. So she's going in there. She's locked on. And she bounces the first round, but her first round goes in. She's only using standard ammo. And she's getting hits on the guy. And a third one. Oh, that one was bounced on the armour. And that one bounced on the armour as well. But she's blocking his shots as well. That one did some damage. And now she's getting the shots in. But so is he, and she kills him. And another enemy Valentine comes in. And at this moment she doesn't notice, but I'm actually shooting at that Valentine as well from behind. So he's getting 2 Valentines firing at him. She goes for the weak spots, the driver's port. He's taken a lot of damage already. Unfortunately, that shot didn't go through. Aim for the driver's port, Mary. That's it. She's lost the driver, but she's got a first aid kit on cooldown, so the guy's forcing her back, and you can see some of those shots are bouncing. Go for the driver's port. That's it. She got it. And again. Note that one bounce. One more on the driver's port, and she got it. I was coming up from behind to try and get the kill because Mary already had 3, and now she's got 4 kills, and I needed that kill so we could get a brothers in arms as a group. D-Tronics had 3 kills by this point, and I had just the 1. So we're all headed off down to the other side of the other map, the other side of the map though, to take out the last remaining enemy at the cap. It's that Marder 2 and the M7 Priest. I'm afraid D-Tronics has already been killed, and you can see Mirrorbanks is being handicapped by the fact that her driver is still dead, but she will get him back off, be able to restore him as soon as the first aid comes off cooldown. Only a few seconds to go. That's it. And she uses it straight away, gets the driver back in. And she speeds up. Well, the Sexton just firing straight up in the air. Don't think that's actually going to help, but everyone's just piling in now to try and get the last 2 kills. In fact, actually it's the last kill because the enemy M7 has been taken out. It's just the Marder to go. We lose the Panzer IIIe. And the Sexton's just firing wildly in the air. And the Marder fires a round at me and I fire one back at him. So that's the battle from Mary's perspective. Let's have a look at the battle from my perspective. And here's the battle from my perspective. Yes, I'm in the Valentine in the centre. Mary Banks is to the right of me and D-Tronics to the left of me. And the battle started. Well, as you saw at the start of the other replays, you saw there was a bit of pandemonium at the start. And this M3 Stuart ran into me and started pushing me back. I tried to go around him and then he ran into the side of me. Okay. I always try to knock the camp down at the start of the battle, mainly because it could be used as cover by the enemy. It's not that I want a silly hack like a log or something like that, but it's actually good practice to ensure that the enemy's got nothing to hide behind at the end of the game. So I've got D-Tronics to the left of me on this occasion. There's Mary Banks just following up behind. She had a little further to go. And she also got rammed by another enemy tank. Over to the left we can see the Panzer 38T came into sight. Always change my aim just in case there happens to be a clear shot on the enemy. Now it's around about this time that Mary Banks suddenly realised that she needed to stay behind and watch out after those tanks that were coming up the centre. And I was going off with D-Tronics down the west side of the map. This is all happening during D-Tronics live stream on Twitch TV. I'll put a link in the below the description to the video so you can see where you need to go if you want to watch this. We take part in countdowns, and Zoe Balls was actually in this game as well. I'll put that up. She was in Platoon with Age of in this game. I don't think that was somebody on our team. And the T-29 just blew up. Now I actually banged into D-Tronics there, but as you can see I got a shot into the Cruiser 3. Second one didn't hit him. Started taking damage from him though, because he's also got a 14mm gun with decent penetration. And I'm playing peekaboo with him, and that makes it difficult for him to fire back at me. And there's the kill. That kill went to D-Tronics. Okay, Panzer III comes in and I fired him, get the kill straight away. D-Tronics hit him just before I did, and that's why it was an easy kill. But we've recognised there's a serious problem. A Panzer 1C was just going after Mary, and there's enemy tanks coming up the centre of the map. So we decided it wasn't a good idea to go down the west side. Better to go back and look after the cap. As you can see, Mary's already hit that Panzer 1C. And again. And again. And she gets the kill. Well, the cavalry has arrived. Lots of our team have come back to defend the cap area. They realised what was going on. And I can see that Panzer 3G is hiding in the bushes, so I go down the cliff and get to the bottom. See the T116. Nice shot, and I don't think I got that kill. That kill went to D-Tronics. Well, unfortunately, at this point in the game, I think that Zoe Balls was fighting over on the river road, and unfortunately she got wiped out. There you go. Yep, the UE-57 died. D-Tronics said he wanted to go down the centre, or was indicating that's where he wanted to go, and I was going to go with him. But I suddenly realised the enemy tanks on the river road that Zoe was fighting were going to head up the river road towards the cap area. And so I thought it would probably be a good idea for us to go back and defend the cap area. And so I indicated that to D-Tronics, and yes, the first enemy tank appeared. It was a Valentine, and of course that's the one that Marybanks started fighting straight away. So I've got a Valentine to my right, and I think he's on the heights, or is he? No, he's come down from the heights now. He's in the right-hand channel. I've got an M2 medium in there. D-Tronics is going directly round there. He's actually going after the Valentine and the Panzer IIIe, while I'm going back up to the cap to help Mary. Mary's at this moment engaged with that enemy Valentine. They're exchanging rounds. Mary's just lost some hit points. Well, she hasn't lost any hit points yet. She does lose some hit points, I'm afraid, because the Valentine does get some shots into her. I get one into the rear of the Valentine there. And another Valentine turns up. Okay, so my first shot didn't pen, but the next one does, and it tracks him. And that one hits him as well, and I go for a third shot. Yes, and I got a critical hit. I think I hit the tracks on that one. Trying to get the turret or the engine cover. Yep, got one in, and that one didn't go. So I moved closer because I needed that kill. I've only got one kill so far, and both the other team members have got 3 kills. So if we can get 3 kills each, it's a brothers in arms. And Mary kills the Valentine before I can get there, so she's got 4 kills now. I've only got 1, and D-Tronics has got 3. And well, we're headed back towards the enemy cap now. And it's at that moment that unfortunately D-Tronics got killed by the M7 Priest on the enemy team. There's only 2 remaining enemies now, the M7 Priest and a Marder 2. And Marybanks, unfortunately, is following rather slowly behind me because she's missing her driver, who was wounded during the action with the Valentines. I'm going as fast as I can. And the Marder is slowly finishing off enemy tanks. He's already got 2 kills. He's doing rather well. You can see as Panzer IIIe slightly ahead of me. And the enemy is all alone now. There's the Marder 2's all alone. And he's now fighting with the Panzer IIIe, who's just gone straight into the cap and not thought about where the Marder was. And the Marder 2 ammo-racks him, and he's out the game. So it's now 3 against 1. And you can see the wreck of D-Tronics' Valentine just up ahead. There. And I thought that Marder was going to come into sight. He did. And I fired 1 shot in and got the kill straight away. He put a round for 109 into me. And that's it. Game over. So I got 2 kills in the end. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats and we'll see how we all did. Well, this is the end of battle stats, and we're starting with D-Tronics. He actually managed, it says Valentine 3-way, tongue-in-cheek, yes. 2 men and a woman, yes. He actually managed to get a fairly good win 8 from that game. Very good, actually. 2,244. He managed to get 3 kills in the game. Let's have a look at the team score for him. And we can see that when it came to team score, he was about mid-table. The Panzer IIIe, who got ammo-racked in the cap, he managed to get 1,066 hit points of damage. But the high scorer, who managed to get a high caliber, was the Marder 2 on the enemy team, who got 1,374 hit points of damage. and 3 kills. Now, the high scorer on our team was Mary Banks, and she got the highest number of kills overall, 950 hit points of damage, rather. Slightly more than D-Tronics, and 4 kills. And he got 455 and 3 kills, and there's me right down there, 579 hit points and only 2 kills. So when it came to base XP, we can see that Marybanks got the highest with 603 base, and the next high score after that was the Panzer 2J, got 539. Then came Fixing Stupid, that's myself, with 440, and finally D-Tronics with 403. We can see Zoe Balls actually a little further down the table got 410 hit points, which puts her about mid-table on damage. Yes, about just underneath D-Tronics. And when it came to kills, she got 1 kill and 268 hit base XP from the game. If we look at Marybanks, I think this is Marybanks, or no, this is D-Tronics first. We can see D-Tronics fired 17 rounds, got 14 direct hits, 11 penetrations, damage of 455 hit points, 6 hits received from the enemy, only 4 of which penetrated, 1 non-penetration and 1 hit by way of splash damage, 70 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 5 enemy vehicles damaged, 3 killed, and 10 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, he earned 10,967 credits, and after repair and ammunition after repair and consumables, I should say, he actually made a loss of 9,983 credits. He received 604 XP, got 2,420 for completing the mission and events, and took away 3,024 experience points altogether. Now, if we look at Marybanks' figures, we can see that she did actually very well. She got a 3rd class tanker in this one. It's the highest she's had ever in this tank on this account, because this is the NA account. She got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. She got 4 exactly. She got a sharpshooter for 10 or more consecutive hits on the enemy. A shell proof for blocking more damage than the hit points of her own vehicle. A master gunner for getting 5 armor penetrating hits in a row. A duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged her, and a fire effect for doing more damage to the hit points of her own vehicle. And she got a cool-headed medal for surviving at least 10 ricochets or non-penetrating shots in a row from enemy team players. And of course that was the Panzer 1C, who was just spraying her with ammunition, none of which was going to go through, and of course awarded her a medal in the process. Marybanks' win rate from that one was 6,186, which is Super Unicum standard. And yes, she did very well in that game. 4 kills, very, very nice performance. If we look at the detail report, because we've already seen the team scores, she fired 34 rounds, got 27 direct hits, 20 penetrations, damage of 950 hit points, all of it at close range. 34 hits received from the enemy, a lot of those from the Panzer 1C. Only 4 shots penetrated, and those came from the Valentine. 13 non-penetrations, most of those from the Panzer 1C. 609 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 5 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, and she earned 17,118 credits on a premium count. And after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, made a profit of 12,368 credits. She received 904 XP for the game and 9,050 for completing the mission and event, so she took away 9,954 altogether. A very good score on the experience points. If we look at my score from this one, well, we can see I only got a 3rd class tanker because this is my new account on the NA server, and it's the first time I've had a 3rd class. I got a fire effect for doing more damage than the hit points of my own vehicle, but no other medals. My win rate from that game was 3,085, which is still Unicum standard, so it's not bad. And if we look at the detail report, we can see I fired 19 shots, got 14 direct hits, 12 penetrations, and 579 hit points of damage. I received 4 hits from the enemy, 3 of which penetrated. Most of those came from that Cruiser Mark IV, who actually managed to, was it Cruiser Mark III, who managed to fire those 2-pounder rounds back into me. 1 non-penetration as well, and 45 hit points of damage blocked by armor. In fact, actually, one of the shots that did penetrate me came from the Marder II. I damaged 5 of the enemy, killed 2, and did 52 hit points of damage assistance. On a premium count, I earned 12,836 credits, and after repair, I took away 12,398 credits. I got 25 bonds for the battle, and 660 for XP, and times 2 for the first victory, and took home 1,320 experience points altogether. So pretty good game for all three of us. I think you can say that it was Marybanks who actually did the best in this game, because she came out with so many medals and she got the highest number of kills. And just goes to show, when you have three friends together in the same tank, it can actually be quite funny, the results you get. So do consider getting together with your friends in a particular tank of one type or other and see what actually happens. If you enjoyed this replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel, please. And thank you for watching.